I hear the sound buzzing, so when she said she wanna die, and he see she ain't bluffing, so he held her to the skies, cried sour momentum, passive with goodbyes. I'd rather you tell him.
Reality collapses based on observation, then what qualifies as an observer? Is it consciousness? Measurement devices? Interaction itself? Well, physics does not answer this cleanly. Different interpretations exist. Some say that consciousness matters. Others say it doesn't. Some claim all possibilities exist simultaneously, branching into separate universes. This leads to the many worlds interpretation. In many worlds, collapse never happens. Every possible outcome occurs, each in its own branch of reality. The universe splits continuously, fracturing into countless timelines. From this perspective, dimensions are not just directions, they're branches. You experience one path because your consciousness is embedded within it. Other versions of you exist elsewhere, making different choices, meeting.
What, it's just that my consciousness is not embedded in them, in those other ones? Then why am I conscious of that fact?
Different ends, and not metaphorically, literally. This introduces a dimension that cannot be traveled through, only inhabited.
What's that?
A dimension of outcomes. The unsettling part is not that many worlds exist, it's that from your perspective, they're invisible.
They're invisible.
But from a higher vantage point, they may be equally real. Which brings us to the most uncomfortable possibility of all.
What is that?
Consciousness itself may be a low-dimensional phenomenon.
Damn.
It's not special, not central, simply trapped. If awareness arises from physical processes confined to a particular dimensional slice, then higher dimensional structures may not experience reality sequentially at all. They may not experience time as flow. They may not experience individuality as separation.
Yeah.
To such entities, your entire life might be a static object, a pattern, a completed structure. This mirrors the earlier insight about world lines. You are not moving through time, you're stretching across it. Now, imagine a perspective where even that extension is visible all at once. From there, choice doesn't disappear, it simply stops feeling open-ended. This is why higher dimensions feel creepy. Not because they introduce monsters or chaos, but because they remove narrative. Cause and effect lose their emotional...
I feel like they go beyond what the mind, what your physical mind can like conceptualize, right? So once that understanding, that misunderstanding hits, right? It's like, oh shit, I don't want to get here. It's scary here.
weight. Effort loses its drama.
Yep.
Becoming gives way to being. At the highest levels, physics does not describe events, it describes structure. And structure, it doesn't care how it feels to live inside of it. Which brings us to the final reframing. Perhaps the reason higher dimensions feel so hostile to intuition is not because they're alien, but because they reveal that intuition was never designed to survive truth at scale. Our minds evolved to navigate a narrow slice of reality where surfaces matter, time flows forward, and observation feels harmless. But beyond that slice, the universe does not become supernatural. It becomes honest. After walking through the highest dimensions, one question refuses to go away.
What is that?
If reality is this fragile, if walls are optional, time is a coordinate, forces are geometry, and observation shapes existence, then why does the universe feel so stable? Why does your body feel solid? Why does cause usually follow effect? Why does the world behave well enough for life to exist at all? And the answer isn't that higher dimensions are absent.
I feel like it's memory, because you require memory for you to remember what summer feels like, and so therefore once summer hits again, you're able to derive meaning for how reality is supposed to move when it's summertime versus when it's wintertime. You know what I'm saying? And so even that change of seasons is constantly there, which makes the whole universe feeling stable but containing changes within it, because the change has to come back to its resting place, right? Its point of equilibrium again before it starts the new cycle. Let me hear your version.
It's that we are embedded too deeply in a narrow slice of them to notice their freedom. Stability is not a feature of the universe.
What is it?
It's a byproduct of confinement. Just as two-dimensional creatures would swear that lines are absolute and interiors don't exist, we swear that surfaces matter, that objects are sealed, that time flows forward, and that observation is harmless. These beliefs aren't wrong necessarily, they are locally correct. They hold only because we are trapped inside the same dimensional bottleneck. Every higher dimension we've explored reveals the same pattern. Rules do not fail
Same pattern. Patterning. I said something about patterning.
everywhere at once. They
Yeah.
fail only when viewed from above.
Oh.
Walls fail from the third dimension. Knots fail from the fourth. Forces merge in the fifth. Containment collapses beyond the 10th. Structure itself dissolves at extreme dimensionality. Yet, inside each layer, reality still feels complete. This is why physics appears stable to us, yet incomplete. It's not lying to us. It's speaking only about the part of reality we are allowed to inhabit. Now, this reframes the idea of physics breaking. Physics does not break when equations fail.
What does it do?
It breaks when we ask them to apply outside their jurisdiction. The moment we demand global truth from local rules, paradoxes appear. This is why higher dimensions feel so disturbing to us. They expose that everything we trust, causality, containment, individuality, is provisional, useful, but not fundamental.
Yep.
Even time, the axis we rely on to make sense of our lives, loses its authority at higher dimensional views. Past and future become positions, not processes. Change becomes geometry. From above, your entire life may exist as
I don't know. I might give a, sort of like an trivial sort of example, right? One that may not be taken too seriously, but I feel like, from the transition of being an adult, right? From being a teenager, being an adult is a higher dimension, so to speak. It's an example, man, right? And so therefore, I feel like seeing yourself let's say you're the teenager and you're on some stupid shit, right? You're on some stupid behavior, immature behavior, and for you to see how it's affecting you from a grown lens, from a wiser lens, aka from maybe a more grown you that would want better interests for yourself in your life. Because when you're a teenager, that's the only world you know, so that's the only dimension you exist in. You don't know it from any other perspective. But once you've become an adult, you do have the reference to a teenage perspective of you. So that's why you can probably empathize with teenagers that have went through the adult version of you that are going through that similar thing. You know what I'm saying? But as a teenager, you might look at an adult that's trying to give them advice on, yo, this is what I went through, and this is how you can actually make better decisions. That teenager might look at you like, yo, piss off, bro. Like, I'm still, I'm doing my own thing, this is it, you know what I'm saying? So to them, the patterns of being a teenager is fixed within their realities. Like, yo, it doesn't get any, doesn't go beyond this, you know what I'm saying? Because the mind cannot fathom anything, any other perspective of what it looks like to be that teenager, because they've never been anything other than a teenager. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making any sense, dog, but I feel like it goes there. Come on, bro, stop it. Fuck, nigga, damn. I hate it when this shit happens. Why do you go all the way to the intermission scene? We'll see.
Static object, a structure with no privileged now, not unfolding, just there in its entirety. And this does not mean your experiences are meaningless. It means meaning is not created by sequence alone. And this is where the human discomfort peaks. Because if higher dimensions exist, then suffering, choice, effort, and identity are not erased, but they are recontextualized. They stop being the center of reality and become features of a particular slice. And that is the true source of the unease. We aren't disturbed by the idea of extra space. We are disturbed by the idea that we are not narratively central, that our struggles do not drive the universe forward, that our decisions do not shape reality globally.
It's not about us, basically. It's not about self-centered you.
That our sense of becoming may be a local illusion inside a larger...
And that's why I gave the example of the teenager versus the adult. The teenager thinks everything is about them. And the older you grow, the more you realize it's not. Right? You are a cog. You are a little piece in the system that makes up your life. You know what I'm saying? And you're nothing but a contributor. You're not the whole entire thing. But then even that, okay, cool. There's concepts. There's a whole bunch of things that could like, that, go against that notion. But, right? It's like, that's why I gave that example in the first place, though.
Already structured whole. And yet, I think at least, there is a strange relief hidden here.
What is it? Where is it?
If higher dimensions reveal that reality is larger than our slice, then the fragility that we feel, it may not be personal. It may be structural. That anxiety that something is off with existence might not be a flaw in human psychology after all. It may be an accurate response to living inside a constrained projection.
Nice.
Our minds evolved to survive, not to see the full shape of reality. We never needed it to live day to day. which explains to us why higher dimensions feel so wrong. They don't threaten us with monsters or chaos. There is no Cthulhu waiting in the 6th dimension. They just threaten us with irrelevance. They suggest that the universe does not revolve around what we can perceive, measure, or narrate. That the deepest structure of existence operates at scales where our intuition just can't follow.
Yeah.
We're here anyway. We move. We choose. We
Move
care.
anyway.
And perhaps that's the final paradox. Even if higher dimensions exist, even if reality is far stranger and colder than we imagine, experiences still happen locally. Meaning still arises inside slices. Consciousness still navigates its narrow corridor as if it were the whole. And maybe that's not a failure. Because a universe fully aware of its highest dimensions might be perfectly structured and completely unlivable. So, reality compromises. It hides its depth. It stabilizes surfaces. It enforces time. It protects identity. Not because these things are fundamental, but because without them, nothing inside that slice could survive. In that sense, physics does not break at higher dimensions. It lets go. And what remains is not chaos, but a quiet reminder that what we experience as reality is not the universe itself, but the version of it that allows us to exist. Which, depending on your point of view, may be the most beautiful or unsettling truth of all.